It's time for Michael Lange. Sponsored by Lange Eye Institute and Fortify Vitamins. Dr. Lange is a board-certified optometric physician and certified nutrition specialist, helping people see and feel better through proper nutrition for 25 years. The doctor is in. Call now with your questions at 813-282-8283. That's 813-282-8283. Here's your host, Dr. Michael Lange.
Okay, good morning and welcome to Ask the Doctor. I'm your host as usual, Dr. Michael Lange of the Lange Eye Institute and Fortify Vitamins, here each and every Saturday morning live to answer any and all questions you may have regarding your vision, eye care, or a nutritionally related topic. So don't be shy, pick up the phones and give me a call. I should say give us a call because, of course, my partner in crime here, Dr. Susan Summerton, is the co-host of Ask the Doctor for many years now. And she's also an asset and associate at the Lange Eye Institute and Fortify Vitamins. So first, I want to take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Summerton. Good morning, Dr. Summerton.
Good morning, Dr. Lange. And good morning to all our listeners out there. We look forward to taking your calls. I know it's a beautiful day here in the villages. We're really getting into more the closer to the fall time where it's a beautiful time to be outside. And take your radio, go listen outside. I guess you're not really a radio. You can take your smartphones and your laptops and go enjoy the show with some sunshine.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Remember that? That was Mr. Rogers. Dating myself. Also, we want to invite everybody out to the Fall Festival, the 20th Annual Fall Festival at the Lange Eye Institute. That is October 4th. And it's going to be from 10 to 2. Remember the Fall Festival, October 4th from 10 to 2. Come on out at Lange Eye Institute, right there in the heart of the villages. People come from all over. We usually have a good crowd, 5,000 people or so come out. We're going to have food. We're going to be grilling our hamburgers and hot dogs and all sorts of other food. It's going to be a lot of fun. We also have 35% off all optical eyewear, lenses, Fortify Vitamins. We have lots of giveaways. I mean, we're going to give away a lot of sunglasses, a lot of stuff. So it's a lot of fun. Fall Festival, October 4th, 10 to 2. It's a disco theme. So already you've got a disco outfit. So come on out and meet Dr. Summerton and myself and the entire crew from the Lange Eye Institute and Fortify Vitamins. Fall Festival, October 4th, 10 to 2. Last year was a pretty big event, wasn't it?
It was. I think we had so many hot dogs and hamburgers go, we had to go to the store and buy more. But the amazing part, it's not just our frames, in the optical, we have all the extra vendors there. So there's so many choices to choose from. And then better yet, you get that discount too. So it's well worth the trip. And we would love to meet everybody and see you in person.
And certainly you can have a tour of the new wing at the Lange Eye Institute, see some of the new technology that you will not see in a typical eye care setting. The Opti Lift, the Opti Light, both by Lumenis, the new OCT angiogram. We got some really cool technology that we can show you. And speaking of Opti Lift, we've talked about this a few times on this program. The Lumenis Opti Lift now, as you know, this is some technology that uses RF frequency and dynamic muscle stimulation, DMST. And we use this around the paraorbital area, and it decreases lower lid laxity, increases your blink quality. Very useful for dry eye disease and meibomian gland dysfunction. So if you have dry eye and you have these baggy lower eyelids and you can pinch part of your lower eyelid and a lot comes out, and it stays pinched for a long period of time, you may be a really good candidate for the Lumenis Opti Lift. We have been getting some amazing success rate. So not only is it a device or technology that's non-surgical, non-invasive, painless, it's done in office setting. So it's not only does it help cosmetically, so there is an aesthetic benefit, but functionality of the eye improves. So it does help reduce dry eye symptom by close to 300%. And isn't there a new study, Dr. Summerton, that just came out? I mean, with this new Opti Lift, talking about the benefits of it?
Absolutely. It was using the OptiLift with, like you mentioned, the dynamic muscle stimulation and the RF frequency. And the study was done, the average age was about 67, mostly women, but they did the session once per week for 4 weeks, about 5 minutes per side. And sometimes we even do it a little longer than that. It doesn't hurt. It's not causing any, really just barely any discomfort. Maybe you feel some heat, a little bit of twitch in your lower eyelid. You might feel that too. But I actually think it's kind of relaxing when you get it done. But like you mentioned, if you can pull that lid, if you can squeeze your lid, your lower lid, and pull it out from your eye, and it comes out quite a ways. Like in the study, they actually came out 11 millimeters, which I think is pretty far. And then if it doesn't bounce back, it's triggering that muscle to reactivate again, strengthening that muscle so that when you do blink, you actually get that closing together of the eyelids and the little bit of squeeze that we need to get that oil into your tear film. So a lot of people think it's all about water, and but there's the oil layer to your tear film. And so the oil protects your tears from evaporating. When we're on the screens, we don't blink as much. We're all looking at screens these days. So if you don't have that protective oil layer, even if you're making tears, that watery part, it's just going to evaporate. Kind of like if you're trying to take your skin and moisturize it with water versus having a lotion with the oil, that's going to last much longer and stabilize what we call your tear film. But for you, your vision is going to be better and your eyes are going to feel better.
Absolutely. So if you've got dry eye and you've tried just about everything, maybe you want to come by the Lange Eye Institute or find somebody, a doctor that is utilizing the benefits of the Lumenis Opti Lift. Remember, it's not only functional, it's also a little bit of an aesthetic benefit as well. We've done a lot of patients, and everybody we've done has been extremely happy. We've had some major improvements in both aesthetics and functionality. Remember, dry eye, a disease process. And also, when you combine that with a Lumenis Opti Light, that's IPL technology, that's intense pulse light therapy. It's kind of the double whammy of fighting against dry eye. Now, we always try to natural, less expensive approach for dry eye first, where we heat the lids up, we clean the lids, we nutrify the glands with something like Fortify Super Omega and black currant seed oil, and we use lubricants like Oasis Tears and Optase. If that doesn't work, then we may do the punctal occlusion, punctal plugs to help with the dry eye. We can use in stem cell enhanced amniotic membranes. There's a whole variety of drugs we can prescribe as well. And there's some other heating elements that we can use to open the meibomian glands. But I tell you, the combination of the Opti Light and the Opti Lift really works amazingly well. It's not covered by insurance, and it's not that expensive, and it's 4 treatments, so it's affordable. But if you're interested, come on by the Lange Eye Institute, set up an appointment to see one of the doctors and see if you're a candidate. All right, we're going to open up the phone lines. If you got a question for Dr. Susan Summerton or myself, Dr. Michael Lang, give us a call at 813-282-8283. It's a live call-in number, 813-282-8283. You are listening to Ask the Doctors. We are coast to coast this morning, and we're live video streaming all over the world. So it's good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, just depending on what part of the globe you're actually watching us. If you want to learn a little bit more about what we have to offer with the supplements that we talk about on this, the supplements that we've developed, that's Fortify Vitamins. And our motto is right ingredients, right science, right for you. You can go to the website at fortify.com. That's Foeye, fortify.com. And the phone number for Fortify Vitamins is 866-503-9746. That's 866-503-9746. Also, you can always go to my personal website, and that will link you up to the Fortify website, to the Lange Eye Institute website. Also, go to the blog section. We've written a bunch of articles recently, all on anti-aging, wellness, and nutrition. So go to drmichaellange.com. That's simply Dr. DR, no period after it, drmichaellange.com. All right. Once again, we're getting ready to take a phone call. If you've got a question, call us at 813-282-8283. That's 813-282-8283. If you're watching live video streaming, I'm wearing some Tulane outfit, basically Tulane Green Wave hat and shirt. Go Green Wave. I gotta be for Green Wave since my youngest daughter Mackenzie goes to Tulane. I think they're playing Duke today. That should be a good game. And then they're playing Ole Miss next week, and so my brother's daughter goes to Ole Miss, so that's going to be a good game. Ole Miss against Tulane. Totally different league, but Tulane has a good team, and they haven't lost to Go Green Wave. All right, we're going back to the phones. Let's see the first caller of the morning, and it's our good friend Steve. Steve in Clearwater, good morning.
Yes, you were talking about the green wave. There is a social movement, a social effect in this country called the gray wave, and what it is tend to be in their early 60s before they are covered by Medicare, where they have a very serious illness, and it makes them bankrupt, and they can't. All their retirement money goes. It's called the gray wave. It's very common in the country now. It's a real big problem, and I've seen it in my own life with friends that right before it tends to occur between age 60 and 65, and it's when people have a major bankrupting type illness before they get on Medicare. So
gray wave.
Huh. Yeah, gray wave. It's called the gray wave. It's all these people that are having this happen these days. Number two, we were talking about melanoma and
right,
and they did find that there is a mechanism.
Steve, you there?
Phosphodiesterase 5 inhibition, and all cells have a break, so they don't go cancerous. And what this does, it increases a compound called CGMP, which has to do with monophosphate, and it increases the ability of the cancer cell to multiply. So there is an actual physical, biochemical reason they found now why Viagra might cause melanoma. And wow. It's been found in, because it decreases diphosphoesterase 5A.
That's anyway, good to know. I mean, there's so many things that can cause melanoma nowadays. I mean, like sun exposure, too much sun exposure as a child, sunburn, right. Now Viagra, maybe Cialis, testosterone, too much testosterone. So that's interesting.
Well, yes, too much testosterone. In fact, I was thinking, you have a friend that has a problem with a meninges in the spine. Is that correct?
In the brain.
In the brain. Okay. What is interesting is that I'm thinking that maybe too much testosterone could cause that, because have you ever seen this ad that Morgan & Morgan has, that they found out that women who were taking a birth control called Depo-Provera
right.
were getting a lot of brain cancers and meningeal cancers? Well, that's hormonally related, so it could be that too much testosterone could do it. I'm not saying testosterone's bad, but it makes sense. Probably a metabolite of testosterone, but it's something to look into. One thing about melanoma, I researched it a lot this week because of the situation that your friend has with melanoma, and it's completely different than other cancers. Everything about melanoma is different than other cancers. It's like it's a one unique disease. And the biochemistry is the difference. The drugs work different. The immunotherapy works different. The radiation affects it different. Then it's a completely unique type of cancer. And anyone that has it, they got to keep that in mind. If you contact me, which I tried to do the other night, but I wasn't available, and when you called, was I have some very information that could help your brother. And just try to give me a call again. And happy birthday.
All right, Steve, thanks. You're always filled with a wealth of knowledge. Yes, my birthday is, September 15th, I think, which is soon. I don't even know what the day is. I think it's September.
Yes,
2
September
days.
15th is your birthday. And
Uh,
you actually have, when on the day you have your birthday, you have your 3 birthdays. You have your calendar birthday. That's the time of day you were born, like if you were born at noon. You have a tropical birthday, which is a few hours before that. And you have what we call a sidereal birthday a few hours after that. It has to do with the way that your birthday is not perfect.
right.
It's 20 minutes later every year.
Well,
I know that
and you can't forget, it's also my birthday for my 3 best buddies, me, myself, and I.
Yeah, there you go.
Hi,
Well,
Steve.
you get more gifts that way.
Take care, my friend.
Okay. Have a good day.
All right. You're listening to Ask the Doctors. I'm Dr. Michael Lange and Dr. Susan Summerton here to answer your questions regarding your vision, eye care, or a nutritionally related topic. Maybe you've been contemplating wearing contact lenses and you want to know what the best contact lens is and can you indeed wear a contact lens. Maybe you've been debating on having LASIK surgery or cataract surgery and you want to know the potential benefits, pros and cons of all of this. Or maybe you want to know what foods to eat if you have macular degeneration and what you could do naturally to help reduce the chance of you getting glaucoma. Well, that's what we're here for. So give us a call at 813-282-8283. That's 813-282-8283. Also, if you're watching on my personal Instagram right now, that's Dr. Michael Lang _. I think we were having trouble hearing the caller, Steve, but maybe now you can hear everything. So you can chime in and say if you can hear. As a matter of fact, Dr. Summerton, you can go ahead and talk about something so we can see if they can hear you.
Well, what Steve was saying made me think when he was talking about the gray wave that it really does matter kind of how you live your life when you're younger because you can kind of bank resilience for when you're older. So the earlier the better to make those positive lifestyle changes that we talk about constantly. Just the small shifts like better sleep, making activity regular in your life, adding more whole foods into your diet, less alcohol, less smoking, less vaping. No matter what decade you're in, you're going to show some measurable benefits because there's always the chronic diseases and risk for diseases out there. But if you can make that effort in every decade of your life to bank that resilience, so if unfortunately disease does hit, your body is in better shape to handle it and also recover from it. And it is true, kind of that age, if you have kind of neglected and haven't put, because we understand it does take effort to do this, that it kind of hits people like in their late 50s, 60s, where they don't have as much resilience there. And it's just helpful on an everyday basis to add those little things into your life.
Absolutely. The key is try not to get sick, at least until you have Medicare, right? You don't want to go bankrupt. Medicare will cover 80% of it. So you got to do the things that Dr. Summerton and I, preach on this show and preach to you as a patient, a combination of a whole multitude of things, eating the right foods, a diet that I developed called the Lange Survival Diet, which is kind of a combination of the Mediterranean diet, the carnivore diet, the paleo diet, the hallelujah diet, the ketogenic diet, and we've taken the benefits of all of those and combined them into the Lange Survival Diet. You can just Google Lange Survival Diet. And if you follow that diet just by eating the foods on that diet, I promise you, you will be healthier because it's taking out all the bad stuff. Now, it takes out a lot of the foods that you're probably eating and you're yearning to eat, but try it, the Lange Survival Diet. When you combine this diet with the right supplements. Remember, the right supplements, the right ingredients, the right science, right for you philosophy, like the fortified vitamin supplements, exercise, sleep, hydration, positive mindset, a little sunshine, not too much sunshine. As Dr. Summerton always says, more sunshine early morning and late evening. Now, Dr. Summerton, why is that important to get sun? Yeah, say before 9 o'clock and after 5 o'clock.
Well, we do have our circadian rhythm, and our body functions much better if we're in tune with that. And so when you get up at the sunrise outside, more skin exposure, no sunglasses at that time. The sun has all that natural red and infrared light, before the ultraviolet light comes out. And so it sets your brain to say, hey, wake up, get everything ready, even sets your skin to actually handle sun later down in the day. And then same thing at night when the UV has gone right at sunset. Not only is it just beautiful outside, you have less cortisol, less of that stress hormone being released. It gets you into the relaxation mode. There's isn't the blue light and it calms your body down, preparing it for sleep as well. Our eyes love that red light. Your macula, we talk about different treatments for macular degeneration and how light treatment is becoming the new thing. You can get it for free every single day at sunrise and sunset.
Yep. So take our advice, get a little morning sunshine, a little evening sunshine. If you're going to be out, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you probably should be putting your sunscreen on, a hat, sunglasses, or some SPF clothing to help block some of that unwanted sun. Now, a little sunshine is good. I've always talked about a little sunshine is good, but do not get sunburned. All right, phone lines are open, 813-282-8283. Give us a call at 813-282-8283. See somebody on Instagram is wanting to know the Lange Eye Institute phone number. All right, so the phone number for the Lange Eye Institute in the Villages, Florida is 352-753-4014. That's 352-753-4014. One more time, 352-753-4014. Since I'm giving you phone numbers out, I'm going to give you a Fortify vitamin phone number twice. Here it comes. And they're answering the phones, I think, today until about 3. 866-503-9746. One more time, that's 866-503-9746. Okay, a lot of you are out there on extreme diets, either a carnivore diet or a total vegan diet, right? And so the question is, there's a debate on which one's best. So I'm going to talk a little bit about vegetarian diets or a total vegan diet. If you're eating no animal proteins, it can impact healthy aging. All right. All plant-based diets may not be as good as you're thinking. However, we can make it pretty good for you. So you're more likely to have chronic diseases and cognitive impairment. You're more likely to have increased hip fractures, okay? Poor bone health, increased sarcopenia. That's muscle wasting because of protein deficiency. On the typical vegan diet, if you're not educated and eating the right foods. Now, a lot of you are going to say that, oh, I eat rice and beans. It's a complete protein. Well, yes and no. It is a complete protein, but the branched chain amino acids are very low. It is high in essential amino acids, but the 3 amino acids, leucine, isoleucine, and valine, responsible for muscle growth, are very low in beans and rice. And also, the rice is high in arsenic and the beans are high in anti-nutrients, especially lectins and some phytic acid. So you got to soak the beans overnight. You got to soak the rice to reduce the anti-nutrients, and you still have a complete protein, but the branched chain amino acids are very low. So that brings up why we worked for many years, Dr. Summerton and I, and the team at Fortify Vitamins, developing a vegan protein that is very high in branched chain amino acids. And we are utilizing barley protein and pea protein. The barley protein comes from the United States. It's sprouted barley. The pea protein comes from Canada, not China. None of this protein is coming from China. Unlike all vegan, I shouldn't say all, 98% of all vegan proteins currently, country of origin is China. And I don't know if you want to be doing that right now. So, and I have many reasons for that. So, the Fortify Vegan protein has very high amino acids, and we made it even higher by adding something called velocitol. Velocitol is amylopectin, and it increases the amino acid component even higher. So now, on the essential amino acids, many and most are actually higher than whey protein, and whey protein is the gold standard. So my favorite protein that we have today is the salted caramel mocha. It's even more favorite than the whey super protein, vanilla, and chocolate. The salted caramel mocha, we got a special right now, and we've been running it for 2 weeks, and a lot of you have been taking advantage of it. When you buy one vegan protein, one of the fortified vegan super proteins, vanilla, chocolate, or salted caramel mocha. You put a promo code in, write this down, because you're going to get 50% off the salted caramel mocha. It's vegan caramel 50. Vegan caramel 50. So write that promo code at checkout. Now remember, you have to buy one bag of the vegan super protein. And remember, this is upcycled, so it's very green, good for the country, good for your body. Use the promo code vegan caramel 50, and you're going to get 50% off. The salted caramel mocha will automatically send you that. And it's delicious. It really is. And you know, Dr. Summerton, you are starting to utilize the benefits of this vegan super protein a little bit more now.
I am. I'm personally switching to more of the vegan protein. And as we speak here, I've got an empty shaker beside me where I actually just finished my chocolate vegan protein. I went to the gym this morning. I did my 45 minutes of strength training, and I had some before I went, and I had some now after, and I just mix it with water, and I think it tastes delicious just like that. But especially having that velocitol in there, I know that after I've done my weight training, that gives me more of a benefit. And to even those people, if you're not feeling like you're not eating enough protein, adding that velocitol even boosts that if you're not quite getting enough. And when you do, you need to do the strength training to activate the muscle, but you have to consume that protein, and that velocitol in it just gives you that extra boost. And you want to make sure we want to build that muscle, we want to maintain the muscle we have, because we know muscle affects how you regulate your insulin response. So it's going to protect your bones. The muscle is an organ, and we need to take care of that organ just like the rest of it.
And I got to mention, the Fortify Vitamin team is actually in Niagara Falls right now, and whether at the Moffitt's Cancer Center now. I am not in Niagara Falls with the Fortify Vitamin team, but Tasha has told us that the vegan protein has been a super large hit. So this is a big chiropractic convention in Niagara Falls, and I got to tell you, the chiropractors, they really get nutrition because they're not prescribing drugs. So they really understand it and they get it. And they're understanding that when they look at our label and country of origin is North America, it's a pretty big hit. We've had a lot of big orders for the new vegan super protein. And, you know, people are saying it's about time that people have developed, or somebody has developed, a vegan protein that is sourced from protein here in North America. So check it out on the website, fortify.com. Fortifeye, fortify.com. And remember, go to Fortify Vegan Super Protein. We also have some great whey proteins as well. And whey protein is still the fastest acting protein, but everybody can't have whey because it's dairy derived, might be lactose intolerant, casein intolerant, just milk intolerant. Now, there's not a lot of lactose or casein in a whey protein, so most people do pretty good. But some people do have negative reactions to whey. So that's why we have the vegan super protein. All right, we're going back to the phones. Let's go to the next caller. I think it's Margaret in Tampa. Margaret, thanks for holding. Good morning.
Good morning. This is Margaret in Tampa. Anyway, I want to ask about built-in sunglasses with your regular eyeglasses. Is that a good thing? If so, which is best?
Okay, so I think you're talking about the transition lenses, right? It used to be called photo gray. Photo gray was the glass lenses. So transition is what I do recommend. And I think a transition lens for your regular everyday pair of glasses is outstanding because let's face it, you're not going to have your sunglasses with you all the time. And you might be getting out the car and going into Publix or some grocery store or a shopping center in the mall. And you might see a neighbor or a friend and you might stop to chit chat and you don't have your sunglasses on and it's 2:00 in the afternoon. So you're potentially getting some, ultraviolet damage and blue light damage to your retina during this period of time, especially if you've had cataract surgery and you have implants. So yeah, transition lenses I recommend for your everyday pair of glasses. Remember, these get dark when you go out in the sun and then they get totally clear now at nighttime. Now, I don't think it replaces a good pair of polarized sunglasses, because especially here in Florida, you're driving into the sun in your car. They're not going to change unless you have a convertible. Now, it could be a good reason to buy a convertible, but you need polarized sunglasses when you're driving directly into the sun, or if you're going to the beach or going to the lake or going to the pool. There's nothing better than polarized sunglasses. But another thing, for all of you golfers out there, transition lenses are great for golf, because if you're really an avid golfer and you're really meticulous and your putts are so important to you, polarized sunglasses interfere with reading the greens, because it's blocking one whole meridian of glare. Transition lenses will not do that, and they'll adjust accordingly. So in the early morning hours, they won't be too dark, and later evening, they won't be too dark. So for golfers, transition lenses are fantastic. I like it better than polarized lenses. So did that answer your question in a roundabout way?
Yes. And the other part is, what color lenses are best for sunglasses?
All right, so that depends on you. I mean, number one is probably fashion. Depending on how it looks, you just put them on. Gray lenses are neutral color. So gray are better if you're going to be out in the sun a lot from, say, 11 to 3. All right. Brown polarized or the rose polarized or even the green is better if you're early morning, late evening. So a lot of fishermen are listening to this show, and there's nothing better than the brown lenses for early morning fishing, all right, or early morning golf. But gray is a neutral color, and most people, nobody, buys a gray polarized lens and says they don't like it. So I'm a big avid of gray. But Dr. Summerton, what do you think?
I know, and my personal preference is usually brown. And a lot is, again, like you said, it's a personal preference. Put them on, try them on. If you like the darker, the gray is going to dim kind of all the wavelengths fairly evenly and get a little bit darker. If you like the contrast, which I do, and the brown is going to enhance that contrast. The brown has a little bit of extra protection for absorbing the blue light than the gray, so it shifts you kind of to the warmer tones, and makes things look a little warmer. So again, that's kind of personal preference. I like it, the brown, for our patients if they have already a little bit of cataract and some macula changes. I tend to go recommendation on the brown for them because the gray may end up being a little bit too dim of all the wavelengths.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Margaret, you're an expert in sunglasses now. All right, you're listening to Ask the Doctors. I'm Dr. Michael Lange, and my co-host, Dr. Susan Summerton, both of the Lange Eye Institute and Fortify Vitamins. Give us a call. Consultation is free. If you got a question, 813-282-8283. That is 813-282-8283. You can actually check out my website, drmichaellange.com, and it'll take you to the Fortify website, the Lange Eye Institute website. You can certainly follow me on Instagram, the only legitimate, non-fake Instagram with my name on it is Dr. Michael Lange _. Every other 1,000 Dr. Michael Lange Instagrams are fake, so be very careful. If you think you've been talking to me for the last 5 months and you're dating me on the internet, you're not, okay? It's somebody else. It's a fake. So Dr. Michael Lange _ is the only legitimate Instagram site. It's got a blue check. We got about 250,000 followers right now. Also, Fortify Vitamins is a legitimate Instagram site. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about glaucoma right now. We haven't talked about glaucoma in a while. Glaucoma is something we call the sneak thief of your sight. All right. Because glaucoma is a disease entity that can steal your vision literally without you having any symptoms. There's no pain. There's no blurred vision until it's too late. By the time you can't see your fingers wiggling out in the periphery or can't look out your rearview mirror, your peripheral vision is bad. It's almost too late. So this is why it's so important to see your optometrist, your optometric physician, your ophthalmologist, every year, if for one reason only, so you can have the pressure checked in your eye and your optic nerve evaluated. It's very misleading because a low pressure, you can still have glaucoma. And by the same token, a high pressure, you can still have glaucoma. We've got all the latest technology that actually analyzes every aspect of the eye to help our doctors determine truly if you do have glaucoma. And a lot of this is done automatically in the pretest room, like measuring the thickness of your cornea, looking at your angles, adjusting the pressure for the thickness in your cornea. And certainly we run visual fields. We do OCTs, we do electroretinograms and VEPs, lots of other things to help determine if you have glaucoma. But Dr. Summerton, there's some new evidence now that certain types of exercise may actually help reduce intraocular pressure and progressive visual field loss. Now, this does not replace the drugs that you're taking for glaucoma, but it's interesting. These studies are promoting the exercise for glaucoma patients, correct?
It is. And I do have patients often ask, they're taking their eye drops or they've had surgery for glaucoma, but they want to know what else they can do. And same with patients that maybe they have a family history of glaucoma and they're worried about it, or they come in for their eye exam and we kind of classify them as a suspect for glaucoma, but not quite glaucoma there. What can they do to try to prevent that? Well, the study that came out was actually looking at physical activity, and we do talk about exercise all the time and the benefits. Well, this one showed a direct relationship between the level of physical activity that you do to the rate of how you're actually going to lose that peripheral vision in glaucoma. So the benefit was definitely stronger in those who kind of have like moderate to high activity levels compared to those who are low or sedentary lifestyle. So it proved there's a protective effect of exercise, even after they account for no matter what their pressure was, how old they was, and what treatment they were using, the more physical activity prevented that loss of that peripheral vision. And we know once you've lost that side vision, you get those blind spots out there. We can't bring that back. So we want to do all we can. And now it shows that exercise, their thinking improves that blood flow to the optic nerve. It also helps reduce all your vascular risk factors and just basically support that overall eye health. It doesn't cost anything and it's non-drug, it's non-surgical. So it's a good way to ensure that you're doing what you can to prevent that vision loss.
Absolutely. So exercise, once again, another reason to do cardiovascular exercise for eye health, especially if you're at risk of glaucoma or currently have glaucoma. And you don't have to be running a marathon. All right. The studies indicate you need to get your pulse 20 to 25% higher than normal. So calculate what your pulse is, and you got to get it 20 to 5% higher than normal just for 20 minutes. So a brisk walk, not a leisurely walk, a brisk walk, or a bicycle ride, elliptical trainer, stationary bicycle, row machine. There's a lot of things you can do to get your heart rate 25% higher than normal for 20 minutes. So another way that we can help these potential patients that have glaucoma, and it's something that we developed at Fortify Vitamins. It's a supplement called Eye Pressure and Neurocognitive Support. So Fortify Eye Pressure and Neurocognitive Support, it's been a big hit. It's one of the first, it is the first in the world to combine mirtogenol, which is a combination of pine bark extract and bilberry, with Numentics, which is a Kemin-produced spearmint extract that has been shown to have neuroprotective properties to the ganglion cells and the nerve fiber layer, and also to help with working memory. So we're the first to combine both. It's been a big hit. I've got, I don't know how many patients, thousands of patients probably currently on it with getting great results. Remember, this does not replace treatment for glaucoma. You can use it in concert with your treatment through your doctor, combined with the cardiovascular exercise. Or if there's a family history of glaucoma, if you're a little bit suspicious, you can consider Fortify Eye Pressure and Neurocognitive Support. It also improves reaction time and night vision. So since I race cars periodically, I take it as well not for any aspects of glaucoma. So once again, it's called Fortify Eye Pressure and Neurocognitive Support. Go to fortify.com, go to the science section, and look at all the clinical studies, double-blind, placebo-controlled studies showing the power of this supplement. All right, we're going back to the phones. I think Tim in Dover has been waiting patiently. Tim, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Yes, sir. Doctor and Doctor Hour. Good morning. Appreciate you. It's Jim instead of Tim.
Oh, Jim.
But,
okay, Jim.
Yeah. My question is about blood protein levels. I'm 65 and I am, right now I'm 6'1". Somewhere along the way, somebody stole an inch, but, I'm at 190, so I'm pretty near a good weight level.
Right.
But I've been a blood donor all my life, and now I'm doing plasma donations twice a week. And part of their curriculum is to check blood protein levels. Well, they require a 6.0, and most of the time I'm 6.2 and higher. But occasionally it drops under 6.0 and I'm not able to donate for a week. So my question is, what is the timing and any particulars about loading to get my protein levels to where I don't miss occasional donations and miss a week along the way?
Right.
So I can keep donating and flowing and going. And I believe that's a good part of is donating blood on a regular basis.
Now, Jim, let me ask you this. Are you on testosterone therapy?
I am not.
Okay, because a lot of times people on testosterone therapy, they do have to donate blood to help keep their blood healthy. So I think as a rule of thumb, and I'm going to let Dr. Summerton chime in a minute, I think most of the studies are indicating, all right, as long as you're relatively healthy, and at 190, you're going to try to shoot for 190 grams of good quality protein a day, especially if you're relatively athletic, okay? So, and you don't want to get it all at one time. We used to think you wanted to only get 25 to 30 grams at one seating, but now that's been proven that's not necessarily true. You never want to get more than 100 grams at one setting. So there's some people that only eat 2 meals. So for you, it'd be impossible for you to get all the protein you want with one meal. I usually say 3 to 5 meals a day, and then divide that up to get 190 grams of protein. If you're not at all athletic, then you want to get about 70% of your body weight in protein. That's a minimal amount to thrive. And when you think about it, Jim, most of the people that are listening to this show right now, what did they have for breakfast? All right. They had a bagel. All right. They had some Fruit Loops. Not to knock Fruit Loops. They had some sugary, colorful cereal, or they had a piece of toast and coffee, or they had some oatmeal. Not many people had a whey protein shake with 2 scoops or 4 or 5 eggs, and some steak. So we got to try to get enough protein. Do you think you're getting enough protein?
Yeah, it seems as though, because I do eat eggs in the morning. Usually it's not 3 or 4, but I usually start my morning with eggs, and then throughout the day try to have, either beef or chicken, a good sized portion. But another thing I always do the day before is I try to load with either a good protein drink that doesn't have sucralose and artificial sweeteners in it, or a protein smoothie that I build myself. Right now I've got an Ascent native whey protein blend, and I don't know, it's talking 25 grams per scoop, and I usually go with a scoop plus along with dry peanut butter and yogurt, and so I'm probably getting close to 40 grams for a glass of this, and I try to have a couple of those at least the day before. So I don't know if it is 24 hours ahead, the day ahead. Sometimes I donate, usually it's midday, either late morning to mid-afternoon is my donation schedule. So I want to make sure my protein loading is a good timing to maximize that.
Jim, how old are you?
65.
All right. So what you may want to do when you're doing those protein shakes is either get a good enzyme, like our Fortify enzymes, take it 5 minutes before, or add some pineapple, a little pineapple to your drink, or take some apple cider vinegar, all right, a little bit before. And the reason for this, as we mature, and I'm right there with you, we have a tendency not to be able to break down the protein and absorb it as well as we did when we were 30. So the enzymes, pineapple, the apple cider vinegar will help you break down, metabolize, and absorb a lot more of that protein. So try that, and certainly clean protein is what we're all about at Fortify. Our whey protein, grass-fed isolate, all that's in it is grass-fed whey isolate, nothing else. And our super protein, vanilla and chocolate, we have organic stevia, and that's about it as well. Same thing with our vegan protein, super clean. As you know, the majority or the lion's share of protein that you buy out there, number one, is China-based, feedlot cows, fed growth hormone and antibiotics, and filled with sucralose and aspartame and asulfide potassium and dyes and carrageenan and all the stuff that's bad for you. So it sounds to me like you're on the right track. Dr. Summerton is kind of an expert in this arena as well. I'm going to let her chime in and give us some thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. It's eating enough protein on a daily basis, about that 1 gram per kilogram of body weight. You actually need even just a little bit more when you're older, and especially if you're active. And we're talking about the lean meats, chicken, turkey, fish, eggs, and the plant protein base, and the shakes, all different ways to get that protein in. And like Dr. Lang mentioned, you need to have the good digestive health to make sure it. So those people, if you're on acid reflux meds or you have some kind of IBS or celiac, we know you're going to have problems that reduces absorption. So you need that support with like the probiotics and the digestive enzymes, and to be able to treat that gut inflammation so you're getting that steady blood absorption of those amino acids. And then liver function matters too. So it's, protecting it, reducing the alcohol, reducing processed sugars, giving those good foods for your liver, like what we call the cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, those leafy greens in your diet, as well as that protein, and protecting the kidneys a little bit too. So it's a little bit harder for those who have high blood pressure. We want to control the blood pressure. Again, it's harder for those with diabetes. So we want to control the blood sugar. And then just getting good, all the kind of micronutrients in your diet by balancing it with those fruits and vegetables like the berries and the greens I mentioned. And then you do want to pair it with that resistance training. So you want to have the protein intake with the exercise, with the weights or resistance bands, or even your own body weight against it, to boost that blood protein turnover there.
All right, very good. Yeah, I do. I do. I take no meds, and so I'm thankful to God for that. And this
Amen.
protein mix that I mentioned is quality in terms of no sweeteners and no gluten, no added sugars, and those kind of things. But I do know I need to get in a physical training mode. But I do think the idea with the enzymes added in to help the absorption, I think that might be the key with the pineapple, apple cider vinegar, and help get that absorption up to where I've got a better protein reading when the exam time comes.
Good. Do that, Jim, and then give us a call down the road and let us know how that worked out. But we're going to have to go because we're getting ready to get off the show.
All right. Very good. Thank you for your help. God bless you all.
Take care. Also, I want to let everybody know the new OneSkin Amazing Skin Ceuticals basically are available at fortify.com. So OneSkin, the eye cream, the face cream, the UV, the cleaner, all is available. You got a travel kit that has it all in it for only $130. And so it's a really good deal. Dr. Summerton, we got about 10 seconds to say goodbye.
Wishing everybody a beautiful day. Go do something good for yourself. Go meet up with a friend. Go eat something healthy. Enjoy time with your family. Thank you for listening, and God bless.
All right, with that, I'm out of here. Have a great day. God bless you, and God bless America.